If you're watching this and you're against fox hunting, then please consider subscribing to the channel and dropping a like. The more of you who do so, the more people we can educate about what really goes on in the countryside. It would appear that Geronimo the alpaca never had TB after all, as results show the poor animal had no traces in his dead body. So how did we get to this point? Well, back in 2017, Geronimo was brought to the UK from New Zealand by his owner Helen MacDonald. The alpaca tested positive for bovine tuberculosis in August and November that year and was then put into isolation. The government applied for a court order in July 2018 to kill Geronimo. This then started a lengthy legal battle, with MacDonald claiming the animal was healthy and that government experts had relied on flawed science. The case was dismissed, but this was appealed, and in the meantime an order was made preventing Geronimo from being killed. After several legal challenges sadly failed, Geronimo was ultimately dragged to his death in front of the world's media on the 31st of August.
Nut him! Nut him!
Stand back. Just stand back, Al.
Are you happy with this lot?
The government claims an initial post-mortem examination found possible evidence of TB, but supporters disputed the results. Now we have new evidence that there was no TB present in the dead body of the poor alpaca, and therefore the animal was killed for no reason and left panicked and distressed in his final moments alive.
Scientists can see it from both angles.
So you can argue it both ways. You can say there's no evidence beyond the serological test, the antibody test, that Geronimo had TB, and on the other hand you can say, well, you wouldn't necessarily expect Geronimo to come up positive at post-mortem.
The issue of BTB, not just in alpacas but in cattle too, is contentious. If there's one thing positive to come out of all of this, it's that testing for bovine tuberculosis is now being discussed in the public domain. Healthy to some, a threat to others. Many fought to save Geronimo and for answers. With inconclusive science, the outcome was far from perfect.
In a statement issued by Helen MacDonald, she said, "For nearly 5 years we have asked the government to retest, reconsider and review their bovine TB policy," appealing directly to the Prime Minister and Secretary of State, George Eustace. George Eustace has spent a ridiculous amount of British taxpayers' money and resources on trying to prove that this one imported alpaca had bovine TB, when we knew all along that he didn't, and ultimately he personally ordered for Geronimo to be condemned to an unjust death. It is incredibly sad and personally devastating that the truth only emerges after the senseless death of Geronimo.